Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel where today we're going after the Green Bay Packers Week 6 win over the Joe Flacco-led Bengals by a final score of 27-18 in a game that felt like it should have been a lot bigger of a victory for the Packers. But hey, in this league with teams like the Eagles losing to the Giants and contenders losing to weird teams all the time, you take wins where you can get them, and that's what the Packers did here. Scoring got started off in the second quarter with Lucas Harversick 43-yard field goal, make it 3-0 Green Bay, and then a Josh Jacobs 3-yard touchdown run made it 10-0 Packers. But the Bengals, in their first drive of the second half, took a 17-play, 10-minute-long drive to end up with a Tanner Hudson 2-yard pass from Joe Flacco, make it 10-7. Josh Jacobs had a 14-yard rushing touchdown, making it 17-7 Green Bay. Evan McPherson made a 45-yard field goal, making it 17-10. But the Packers answered right back with a 19-yard pass from Tucker Kraft from Love to make it 24-10. But in the last scoring for the Bengals, Jamar Chase had a ridiculous 19-yard pass from Joe Flacco on 4th and 5, where Keyshawn Nixon had basically perfect coverage. It was just Jamar Chase being Jamar Chase and making an outstanding grab. And Joe Flacco converted a 2-point conversion to make it 24-18. But with under 2 minutes to go, Harversick hit a 39-yard field goal to put the game out of reach for Cincinnati, and the Packers won by a final score of 27-18. Packers outgained the Bengals 409 yards to 268. Packers did have one turnover, 24 first downs to 20 for the Bengals. 5 penalties for the Packers, 40 yards. Both teams played a very clean game. Packers 5 for 11 on third down, 1 for 1 on fourth down. 3 for 4 in red zone, and had a 32-minute time of possession. For individual stats, Jordan Love had a pretty darn good game with 19 and 26 with 259 yards, had 1 touchdown, did have 1 interception, but that was off of a tip as he was trying to throw the ball away, and did get sacked once for a 3-yard loss. Had a QBR of 82.6 and a passer rating of 101.3. His 4th game with a passer rating above 100 this season. Josh Jacobs really had a good game. 18 carries for 93 yards, 2 touchdowns, especially after Jordan Morgan took over at right guard. He really took off. Love, 7 for 26, Golden, 2 for 16, and Wilson, 3 for 11. Matthew Golden had an excellent game, had 3 catches for 86 yards, including 1 on the Packers' final drive on a massive 38 completion to get the ball there. Jacobs, very involved in passing game, 5 for 57. Dobbs, 5 for 55. Kraft, 2 for 43. Wicks 2 for 15, and Musgrave 1 for 7. Defensively, Edgerrin Cooper led the Packers with 11 total tackles, had 1 tackle for loss. Williams and Nixon both had tackles for loss. Nixon had 2 pass deflections as well. Bullard, tackle for loss. Valentine had a pass deflection. Lucas Van Ness had the only sack of the game for the Packers, where he absolutely beat the Bengals left tackle there. But even though the Packers didn't give him many sacks, they had a ton of pressure on Joe Flacco all day today, with Michael Parsons generating a lot of pressure there. Savion Williams and Bowen both have pretty solid kick returns there. Haversick, perfect on the day for the Packers, which is incredible for a kicker. Pulled off the street basically to replace Brandon McManus. Basically saved the Packers' butt there, so good job from him. So overall, I mean, there were points in this game that were very frustrating. First half, the offense in the first quarter especially looked very uninspired. Felt like the Packers should have taken a massive lead in the first half there. Jordan Love interception in the red zone definitely did not help. But as the game went on, the Packers basically got going pretty well. I mean, they had 10 points in the second quarter. The only reason why they didn't have any points in the third is because the Bengals took off 2/3 of the clock on their first drive. And then every time the Bengals tried to get back in the game, the offense had an answer. And that's what we wanted to see out of this offense. They look very good. Jordan Love is running this thing like a machine. And Josh Jacobs, mainly because the offensive line was finally pretty healthy, had his best game of the year so far, and he just put the team on his back for some portions there. Really involved in the receiving game as well. I mean, yeah, as soon as Jordan Morgan took over for Sean Ryan, this run game really got going there, so appreciate that for the offensive line. And that's even with like guys like Aaron Banks and Zach Tom still not fully 100% healthy. Still, Jordan Love did get pressured quite a bit, but he navigated the pocket really well. Only got sacked the 1 time there. So overall, good job there. But Matthew Golden had a great game. It feels like he is inching closer and closer to that number 1 wide receiver territory. Obviously, with the amount of weapons the Packers have, specifically Romeo Doubs and Tucker Kraft, who have high trust with Jordan. Golden doesn't get as many opportunities as those guys, but still, great game for him. Doubs, reliable as usual. Kraft, reliable as usual. But for a team that only gave up 18 points on defense, it was very, very frustrating. As in the first half, the Packers defense really held firm, really held the Bengals to basically, I think, 80 yards of offense in the first half. But the second half, it feels like the Bengals just figured out how to perfectly attack this Packers defense with a lot of dink and dunks, short yard passing games, especially on that massive drive to start the second half, where the Bengals had 17 plays, went 5-6 yards every single time on corner routes, little out routes to Jamar Chase, especially, and just dink and dunk their way down the field to get a touchdown. But I will say, the Bengals' second touchdown, I do not blame Keyshawn Nixon on, because he played basically as good a coverage on Jamar Chase as you can, but Jamar Chase just absolutely was Jamar Chase. That's the best way to describe it. Some of the catches that he made is just because, Jamar Chase is Jamar Chase. Keyshawn Nixon still played pretty well there. But yeah, bit concerned that the pass rush has not been able to get home these past couple of weeks. I think after the first two games, teams realized, we can just do little quick outs, which, you much rather have 4 or 5 yard gains on drop back passes rather than 15, 20, 30 yard gains. So you do take that as a defense, but still, you want to see this pass rush get home more often than what's happening here. Another thing, too, the takeaways. The Packers' defense only has 2 turnovers generated this entire season. That needs to get fixed. They seem like they're way overdue for a big play here, but still, again, they held the Bengals under 20 points. If you do that consistently, you have a high chance of winning games. So, gotta be happy with that. But the guy I really want to shout out for special teams, I think there's only one special teams penalty all the games. So, good job cleaning that up there, Packers. Lucas Haversick. Great effort out of him coming off the bench. Was going to be a substitute teacher in Cleveland until he got the call for the Packers. Came up for a game. Was perfect. I was really worried with having another kicker in here that he would screw up and everything, but no. He did exactly what he was supposed to do and saved the Packers there. So good job there as well. So the Packers currently at 3-1-1. Currently, they're technically our first place in the NFC North due to the Lions losing last night to the Chiefs. So, first place in the division. And we have a game against the Arizona Cardinals coming up next week on 4/25 with Kyler Murray most likely to be out with Jacoby Brissett leading that team for Arizona. So, Packers should be able to get a nice little win streak going here before we take on the Steelers, who are a competitive team. And the Panthers look a lot better than what they have been so far. So, overall, a win's a win in this NFL season that looks very much drunk. So, you take wins where you can get them. So, Packers doing a very solid job here. So, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.